Welcome to Knowledgeable Aging. I'm your host, Jason Kotar. Joining us today to talk about Social Security Retirement 101, retirement planning tips for everyone is David Melton. David is a public affairs specialist for the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Area. As a member of a 3-person public information team working in cooperation with 14 offices serving the District of Columbia, Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia, he is involved in a variety of public affairs activities. Through the establishment and maintenance of networks of working relationships, he consults with a wide variety of media outlets, governmental entities, special interest groups, and key employers. He ensures the public is properly informed as to the solvency, direction, and purpose of Social Security Administration programs. How are you doing today, David?
I'm doing great, Jason. And yourself?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for, this is our second time together. Before we get started, David, for those that are joining us for the live webinar, if you have any questions, type your questions into the toolbar on the right-hand side, and time permitting, we will do everything in our power to get your questions answered. So, David, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Jason, and welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today and spend the next half hour or so talking about your Social Security. We have a PowerPoint presentation that we'll use to guide our discussion today, and Jason will kindly operate that for me. I want to share with you today some information about Social Security retirement benefits specifically. I want to talk about when am I eligible? How is eligibility determined? How much will I get? Can I get Social Security while I work? And how do I apply for benefits? So as we begin, I want to reiterate and share that Social Security is more than a retirement program. Social Security is a program of social insurance designed to replace in part earnings that are lost when one of 3 life-changing events occur: the retirement or reduction in earnings of a worker, the onset of a severe impairment that prevents an individual from continuing to work, and upon the death of a worker, certain surviving family members may be eligible for those survivor benefits. But as we said, our focus today is on the retirement leg of Social Security, and we're going to talk about retirement as it relates to you, the worker. In future broadcasts, we'll talk about other topics such as family benefits and disability, but today's broadcast is focused on you, the worker, and how you become eligible for Social Security retirement benefits and access those benefits. And I want to share with you some tips as we talk about to help you plan and prepare for that day when you file for Social Security. We have up a picture of our homepage, ssa.gov, and I'm going to reference several of the items that you can see right here from the homepage during my remarks today. But you'll notice that we have links to the retirement program. We also have links to my Social Security accounts, some online resources such as the Retirement Estimator. And again, we're going to talk about those. But I want to encourage you, if you're not familiar with the website ssa.gov, to become familiar with that. I hope that all of you that are viewing the webinar have previously created a My Social Security account. If you've not done so, that should be a #1 action item from today. We're not going to focus on My Social Security accounts, but I will reference that a couple of times during my remarks today. We're going to focus on retirement benefits. And again, I want to share with you some specific information. I hope that each of you, after viewing this webinar, have made a list of at least 3 actionable items, information that you can incorporate into your financial planning for yourself and your family as appropriate. A basic concept that I want to share with you is that Social Security is a defined benefit. So we know who's eligible. We know under what circumstances we can become eligible, and we know how much that Social Security benefit will be. Now, I understand that each of us have individual questions, and those questions can be answered relatively easily at our website or by contact with the Social Security Administration. But armed with that defined benefit, armed with that foundation, if you will, we encourage people to build upon that. And what I illustrate in the slide is a financial staircase, with Social Security serving as that first step. And then once you take that first step to reach your goal, you need to create additional steps. And how we do that will vary from individual to individual. But the message from Social Security is that you want to create an income stream in retirement that will fund the lifestyle that you dream about during your working years. Financial planners will often tell you that you need to replace about 80% of your pre-retirement earnings to maintain that lifestyle. And you may have heard of that 80% rule. And that's a general guideline. Again, that will vary from person to person, family to family, depending upon your individual circumstances and desires. But as a general rule, Social Security is going to provide you approximately half of that needed income. Social Security replaces approximately 40% of your pre-retirement earnings that were subject to Social Security taxes. And so we get you about halfway, if you will, to that goal. But again, a key message that we've shared with you in the past and that we will share with you in the future is that you want to build upon that foundation. You want to build upon that first step. You want to build upon what you can count on receiving from Social Security. So how do you qualify for Social Security retirement benefits? Well, it's a very straightforward proposition. You work and pay Social Security or FICA taxes, and as you do so, you earn what are called credits. Now, I know some of you may have heard the term quarters or quarters of coverage. The correct term is credits. As you work and pay Social Security or FICA taxes, you earn a credit. This year in 2021, for example, for each $1,470 of gross wages earned, subject to Social Security tax, you earn 1 credit. You can earn a maximum of 4 credits in a calendar year. This year in 2021, anyone who earns $5,880 or more will have earned that maximum possible 4 credits. To be insured, to have enough work to be eligible for Social Security retirement benefits, you need 40 of those credits, or the equivalent of 10 years of work. And I suspect many of you that are viewing the webinar have many more than 40 credits because you've been working for many, many years. But once you reach that 40 credit plateau, what that means to you as a wage earner is that you are insured for that retirement benefit. You can say with certainty, I know I can receive Social Security retirement benefits based upon my work history. So again, a defined benefit, something that you can count upon, something that you incorporate into your overall financial planning. So how do we determine your benefits? You need 40 credits or the equivalent of 10 years of work to be eligible to be insured. But how will Social Security determine the amount of your Social Security benefit? Well, your Social Security benefit is based upon your earnings, a concept called individual equity. In other words, your Social Security benefit is directly related to your earnings history. So when someone submits an application for retirement benefits, and you can do so online or call and schedule a telephone appointment. We'll talk about how you apply in a moment. But when you submit that application, Social Security will look at your earnings history, that year-by-year posting of wages that you see reflected on your Social Security statement, and we're going to do something with your earnings. We're going to adjust those earnings upwards to account for changes in wage levels during your careers. And we index your earnings starting with the first year that you ever worked and paid Social Security taxes up through your 59th year of age. Any earnings from age 60 and later are not indexed. The idea being they were recently earned and they have not lost much in value because of increases in wage levels. Now, don't misunderstand. All of your earnings are going to be looked at, but we will have indexed your earnings age 59 and younger and look at actual earnings age 60 and later. And from that pool of lifetime earnings that you created, we will select your highest 35 years of work. We'll add up those years of earnings and divide that sum by 420. That's the number of months that there are in 35 years, resulting in what you see listed here in step 3 in something that is called your average indexed monthly earnings. How much did you earn over your highest 35 years of employment after indexing of those wages age 59 and younger? And then Social Security is going to replace a percentage of those average index monthly earnings, as I mentioned, on average approximately 40%. And that will vary depending upon your earnings, your average monthly earnings. There's some weighting towards low-income workers that takes place in the computation. But that is how we're determining your retirement benefit, based upon your highest 35 years of work. And I know there's misunderstandings. I call them urban myths. People will say to me occasionally, I understand or I know that Social Security uses your high 5 years. No, we use your high 35 years. So this is a computation that you can view in more detail by looking at some of our publications that we have at our website, pamphlets and fact sheets, including one that talks about your retirement benefit, how it is figured. Now, I mentioned earlier the My Social Security statement, and I hope that all of you are looking at your My Social Security statement at least annually, and one of the reasons to do so is to ensure the accuracy of the earnings that are being recorded for you. Obviously, I think you see the significance of that in the computation of your Social Security retirement benefit. And so if you identify a gap in earnings, missing earnings, report that to us. And with proof of those earnings, your W-2 form, for example, we can easily correct that error. But you obviously want accuracy in the earnings history so that your Social Security benefit is computed accurately. And again, in each of these slides that we're showing today, you'll find websites, specific websites where you can go on our website, ssa.gov, and look at more specific information on the topics that we're discussing. Now, I want to just change gears just a moment, and I want to talk about what is called the annual earnings test. I want to answer the question, can I receive Social Security and still work? Perhaps. And it depends upon your age in a given calendar year. There's actually 3 points in time. And I want to go over this with you in some detail, because this is important in several aspects as it relates to you filing for Social Security, and then once entitled, actually receiving your benefits. So for individuals who have not yet attained their full retirement age, in other words, the age at which you're entitled to receive 100% of your retirement benefit, and for most of us, that probably falls somewhere between ages 66 and 67, depending upon our year of birth. That's true for anyone born 1943 or later. Your retirement age is going to be somewhere between ages 66 and 67. So for anyone who has not attained their full retirement age this calendar year in 2021, and they're receiving Social Security benefits as that early retiree, for example, or perhaps as an early spouse or an early survivor, a younger individual, you can work and earn up to $18,960 and still receive 100% of your Social Security retirement benefit. And when we talk about this earnings limit, there are 2 specific sources of income that count, and 2 only: wages and net earnings from self-employment as reported on a federal Schedule SE. So if you're under your full retirement age and receiving Social Security, you can earn up to that $18,960 limit and receive all of your Social Security. If you earn over that limit, then for each $2 of earnings above that limit, we keep $1 of your Social Security benefit. So to be eligible for a retirement benefit before reaching your full retirement age, there most likely needs to be either a reduction in earnings or perhaps you stop work altogether. But you can work and still receive your Social Security benefits as long as you maintain your earnings below this limit and receive 100%. If you earn over that limit, then you're going to see some of those benefits not payable. And if your earnings are high enough, perhaps you're not eligible at all. Just doing the math. How much could I receive each month? What are my earnings going to be? And as you note on this slide, we do have a retirement test calculator at our website that you can use to look at these calculations as they apply to you individually. Now, second point in time, for people that are reaching their full retirement age in a given calendar year, they have a higher earnings limit. This year, for people that are attaining their full retirement age in 2021, they can earn $50,520 and still receive all of their Social Security. And if they earn over that higher limit, then for each $3 of excess earnings, we keep $1 in benefits versus the 1 for 2 withholding in your younger years. And then the third and the final point in time is effective with the month that someone attains their full retirement age. From that point forward, there are no limits. You can receive 100% of the retirement benefit to which you're entitled to receive and work and earn whatever amounts because your earnings have now become immaterial to your eligibility for Social Security retirement benefits. And so this is important for people to understand. It may influence when you want to file an application. For some of you, you will file for Social Security as early as age 62 and have stopped work. This is a non-issue. For others of you, you may wait until your full retirement age or later to begin receiving benefits. And again, earnings are a non-issue. But for more than half of today's retirees, they retired somewhere between their full retirement age and age 62, many having earnings in that initial year of eligibility. And this is important, and it factors into what we can do and when those actions can take place. So again, I encourage you to look at that earnings test calculator that you see listed on this slide. One final point, and then we'll move on to another topic. There is a one-time, once-in-a-lifetime rule that allows you to receive benefits for any month in that year in which your earnings do not exceed 1/12 of the applicable annual limit. 1/12 of the lower limit, 1/12 of the higher limit. No matter how much you've earned, we will pay you for those months, those non-work months, non-service months, where your earnings don't exceed 1/12 of the applicable annual limit. But once we've used a monthly test, which we often do in people's initial year of eligibility, but once we've used that initial monthly test, then it becomes strictly an annual accounting thereon. So again, the annual earnings test. I want to talk a little bit about your options as to when you claim Social Security retirement benefits. All of us have an 8-year span of time in which to do so, starting as early as age 62 or deferring out until as late as age 70. Everything works from a key number. The term is your primary insurance amount, or that full unreduced retirement benefit payable at your full unreduced retirement age. On my slide that I show to illustrate this, we have a worker whose full unreduced retirement age is exactly age 66. And at age 66, you can see that this worker would receive $1,000 per month. Take benefits early, see that amount reduced for each month of early eligibility. On my graph, I'm showing the year progressions just to show you that sliding scale, but this is actually a monthly computation. So someone could have 6 months of early eligibility and a 6-month reduction. Someone could have 36 months, 42 months, for example. But as you can see, for this worker who takes benefits early, for each month of early entitlement to the first 36 months of early entitlement, your reduction is a little more than a 0.5% per month. 6.6% per year times 36 months is 19.8%. Round that off to 20%, and you can see this worker at age 63 has a 20% reduction in their benefit amount. Instead of receiving that $1,000 payable at age 66, the worker is receiving $800 at age 63. For any additional months of early eligibility, the reduction factor is slightly smaller. It's just under 0.5% per month, 5% per year. So this worker taking benefits 48 months early at age 62 versus age 66 would see an overall 25% reduction, $750 a month payable versus that $1,000. Now, just the opposite is true. Defer your eligibility beyond that full retirement age, grow that benefit through what are called delayed retirement credits, a monthly increase of 2/3 of 1% per month, growing or accruing until age 70. So this worker who defers out from age 66 to age 70, deferring 4 years or 48 months, will grow that benefit by 32%. And that benefit will have grown to $1,320 a month. So I hope that you understand that your benefit amount, that full unreduced amount, is based upon your high 35 years of work. And once that benefit amount is established, then your decision as to when to access that will determine how much you will actually receive. Take it early, see it reduced, defer, see it increased. But all of us have that 8-year span of time in which to make that determination, that decision as to when is the right time for me to begin receiving my Social Security. I want to share with you an online calculator and some enhancements that have been made recently. Again, accessing this through your My Social Security account portal. But you're able to compare individualized retirement benefit estimates using various scenarios that you select. Now, in your Social Security statement that you access, we provide you with estimates, but we've made some assumptions which may or may not be what really happens. Maybe you don't plan on working until your full retirement age, for example. So the online retirement calculator available through your My Social Security account really lets you personalize some estimates and get some benefit numbers that are realistic and that you can incorporate into your planning. And so we've worked to improve this, to enhance this, and again, you see the URL that you can go to access this. Now, how do you apply for benefits? You know, we've covered a lot of information, and I suspect that you maybe even have additional questions. I hope that you do. And I hope that you'll go to our website and use some of the tools and calculators that we have available to you. But there will come a day when you say, now is the time for me to begin receiving my Social Security. How do I file that application? Well, you have options. You can file online. We've made an easy to use online application. People spend less than 20 minutes at our website to complete that application. I encourage you to think about filing online first, but if you choose not to do that, you can call us. You can go to our national toll-free number and make a phone call and schedule a telephone appointment with one of our claims specialists to take the application with you by telephone. And you'll note on the slide, and again, we want to be time sensitive with our webinar. It's 2021. We're recording this in September of 2021. And as of right now, Social Security offices, the field offices, our district offices around the country remain closed for most in-person interviews. We do offer some limited dire need in-person interviews. But for most of us, to file an application for retirement benefits by going into the Social Security office is not an option currently. But sign up for our COVID-19 updates and, you know, stay current with what's happening as we all work through this pandemic. I do want to point out that some applications cannot be done online, specifically applications for children's benefits and survivor claims. Currently, those would be done by telephone only. how do I stay in contact with Social Security? That's a question I get all the time as a public affairs specialist. People will attend presentations or view a webinar and go, that was wonderful and I appreciated that and I learned something new, but I want to know more. How do I stay in contact with Social Security? We have a very visible presence at the social media sites. You see them shown here. I encourage you to visit those sites, see the topics that we're discussing, see the conversations that we are having with you, the American worker, and engage in those conversations.
A couple questions have come in, David. First one, what is the benefit eligibility screening tool?
That is a tool. It is a wonderful tool. It's called the BEST, B-E-S-T. Perhaps it's the best tool available. But the benefit eligibility screening tool, what it does is it allows you to explore what type of Social Security benefits you may potentially be entitled to receive. By answering some personal questions about life experiences, but without divulging personally identifiable information. And so we ask questions about your work history, your marriage history, other questions, and then we come back and we talk about the benefits to which there may be eligibility either now or in the future. So for example, if you were to indicate that you were single, never married, and had worked all your life, we're going to talk about retirement benefits, obviously. But if you indicated that you were a surviving spouse and had worked most of your life and your former spouse also had worked, we'll also want to talk with you about survivor benefits. So if you go to ssa.gov/BEST, B-E-S-T, you will access that tool and use that tool, and I encourage you to do so.
Very good. Another question, David, do Social Security benefits run out?
No, they don't, and I get that question all the time. And I think perhaps that question is asked in the context of overall financial planning. We've all heard the phrase, you don't want to outlive your money. And so there are benefits that we've created that perhaps we could outlive. And within that context, I think that's a great question for people to ask. And the answer is no. Your Social Security benefits will continue for life. And so if you start receiving Social Security retirement benefits at age 62 and live to age 102, you will receive Social Security benefits over those 40 years. And so it's a great question that people ask. It's one that people need to understand. No, your Social Security benefits will continue for life. What that question does also lead me back to, Jason, is the fact that because they do last for your entire life, and because we do not know how long that may or may not be, you want to explore those options. You want to look at those calculators and tools that we have at our website so that you make a decision that works for you, whether filing at age 62 or age 70 or somewhere in between. You want to make a decision that will work for you, not only today, but also for tomorrow.
Can you voluntarily suspend your benefits?
Once someone attains their full retirement age, you have the option to voluntarily suspend benefits. So there's a Social Security term for us. What does that mean? What that means is that you filed an application, you began receiving benefits, and perhaps for whatever reasons you've decided that you want to stop those benefits for the moment. So for example, just one scenario. I started receiving Social Security benefits at whatever age. I've now attained my full retirement age, and I've learned about delayed retirement credits. I've learned that if I were to defer my entitlement, those benefits would grow, and perhaps that's what I want to do. You could voluntarily suspend. That is an option once you've attained your full retirement age, but not before.
I want to know if you have to have 35 years of tax returns to check your record.
Well, I guess Well, first, let me say, I hope that you're not looking at your Social Security statement for the first time, but if you are, that's a good thing. And you want to do that annually from here on out. But if you're like me, I don't remember exactly how much I made 20 years ago, or perhaps even last year. And so you'll need some record to reference that to ensure the accuracy. And that's, again, the question, I think, reiterates this importance of looking at that currently. You know, I do have last year's W-2 form, but I'm not sure I have my W-2 form from 35 years ago. But if you're going to look at that Social Security statement and look at the accuracy of the wages that we have recorded, you will need a document to make that comparison with, certainly.
What is the current thinking about Social Security running out of money?
Interesting you should ask, because our trustees just issued their annual report. And you can go to our website and go to the Office of the Actuary and read that report in detail. I think a lot of you who are viewing the webinar and reading the information that we include in the Social Security statement and elsewhere know that there are some long-range financing issues facing the Social Security program. A message that we have is that those changes that need to be made should be made sooner rather than later. Our trustees, our actuaries do issue this annual report. It's written for one purpose, and that is to provide Congress information on the financial health of the Social Security programs so that they can make decisions about changes and that need to be made so that they can be done timely. And we encourage the American people to engage in that conversation and to be knowledgeable of those issues.
Very good. Last question, David. Somebody asked about the information that's on the website regarding when to take Social Security. And they were asking about taking it at 62 and getting those benefits over the years versus waiting until 66.
You know, that's a question that it leads to the subject that all of us will face in making that determination as to when is the right time for me to begin receiving Social Security. We will never try to influence that decision, but what we do want to do is to provide you with the information. I hope this webinar has served that purpose to some extent, to provide you with the tools to make a good decision that works for you. And obviously, I would refer people to a specific fact sheet that we have. When to start receiving retirement benefits. So go to ssa.gov and look at our publications and look at that fact sheet under the retirement column. And we talk about some of the topics that we want you to consider, such as your health, you know, your financial needs, your personal goals and desires in retirement, and those sorts of things. It's an individual decision. It will vary from person to person. 62 might be a great decision for one individual and not so much so for another individual, but we want you to make a decision that works for you, and we want to put those tools in your hands to assist you in making that determination.
Very good. David, so you would mention how to locate you. Could you please, for those that will be listening on our podcast, can you spell out the website and the phone number so people can reach the Social Security?
Yes, to reach Social Security online, go to ssa.gov and visit that website. Services are available there for beneficiaries, automated services, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So ssa.gov. To reach us by phone, you can call our national toll-free number at 1-800-772-1213. Representatives are available from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, your local time. You can also contact your local Social Security offices and find that phone number by visiting ssa.gov/locator.
Excellent. Thank you again, David. As far as knowledgeable aging, you can go to our website, knowledgeableaging.com. You can see all of our upcoming and archive webinars. We encourage you also to go to YouTube, type in knowledgeable aging and subscribe. We update that a couple times per week. If podcasts are your thing, you can find us on Apple Tunes, Spotify, etc. Till next time, I'm your host, Jason Kotar, and this is Knowledgeable Aging.